We are continuing with our reflections on Passion Week. Today we'll focus on Pilate and Jesus. The chief priests and the elders of the people led Jesus in chains from Caiaphas and brought him and delivered him over to Pilate, the governor. Pilate later sent him to Herod, and Herod in turn sent him back to Pilate. Jesus really suffered in the hands of the leaders of Israel. The people were accusing Jesus, and one of the things they said is that we will not have brought him to you if he had not committed a crime. Whenever you find people speaking this way, it means they really don't have anything concrete against the person that is being accused. And leaders need to be very careful what kinds of accusations they receive from the multitude. You need to ascertain the case for yourself. But if you don't have enough courage, like Pilate, you will condemn a just person. And this happens all the time in society, in nations, in institutions, where just because people do not like a particular person, they gang against and conspire against the person. It happened, you find it all over in the Bible. In Daniel chapter 6, when they noticed that Daniel wasn't like one of them, wasn't corrupt, they ganged and even changed the laws because of one man to make sure that they eliminate one man. But their plots failed and worked against them. Let me read from Luke chapter 23, verses 14 to 16. Then Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people, said to them, "You have brought this man to me as one who misleads the people, and indeed, having examined him in your presence, I have found no fault in this man concerning the things of which you accuse him. Then why did you proceed to hand him over to be crucified?" Pilate. Going on in verse 15, it says, "No, neither did Herod, for I sent him back to him, and indeed nothing deserving of death has been done by him. I will therefore chastise him." Why? If you haven't found anything wrong with him, why do you want to chastise him? Punish him just to please the people? And that happens a lot of times. Pilate tried in verses 20 to 22. Pilate, therefore, wishing to release Jesus again, called out to them, but they cried, "Crucify him, crucify him." Verse 22, then he said to them a third time, "Why? What evil has he done? I have found no reason for death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go." Injustice is done all over the world, and in every place you'll find all manner of injustice where just people are accused and mistreated in ways that are heartbreaking. Eventually, in Luke 23 to 25, The people were insistent and demanded with loud voices that he be crucified. And the voices of the men and the chief priests prevailed. Who do you listen to? Majority does not mean they are right. It is not always that the voices of the multitude mean they are right. Sometimes they are so wrong. And a leader, a discerning leader, should be able to notice when the multitude and the voices of the majority is wrong. There is a woman, I'll come back to the story, but there is a woman that needs to be celebrated. In Matthew 27, verse 19, we are told that while sitting in the judgment seat, Pilate's wife sent him a message saying, "Have nothing to do with that just man, for I suffered many things today in a dream because of him." A bold, wise, courageous woman. A woman who could send someone like Pilate a message and say, "Listen, my husband, what you are doing is not right." And we need wives like that. In Acts chapter 5, Sapphira would not have died if she behaved like Pilate's wife and say, "Honey, this one, I do not agree with you." And we need women who will look at their husband and say, "This thing is not right. I cannot stand with you on this one." Sisters, wives, women out there, the world needs you to intervene in how society is run, because many of the leaders in top positions are men, and we need the women's voices to help save society. Let's take a look at a few other things. Pilate is trying a man he doesn't seem to have clear charges against. And sometimes people do things and you wonder what is behind the act that they are coming up with and the arguments they are coming up with. And sometimes you just cannot understand. It's unclear. Herod had his own agenda. He wanted to see some miracles at that moment when Jesus was being tried. The trial of a just man often involves stories that have no concrete basis. When you are not sure of the crime a person has committed, be careful how you treat them. Be careful what you do with them. Being mistreated, my brother, my sister, it does not always mean that you have done something wrong. Jesus suffered shame, humiliation, mistreatment, wrong judgment, injustice. A just man suffering injustice. It is painful. And sometimes many of you are suffering all manner of wrong, not because you've done anything deserving of it, but because of wicked men who cannot stand you. And maybe you are just too righteous for their liking. Your integrity confronts their immorality and their corruption. But please continue to stand for Jesus. Continue to stand in the right path. Continue to put your hand in the hand of this just man who leads us in paths of righteousness. Semimo brapa emutua Semichai poni nami papa se irade obe we kwandi amami. God knows just how to open a good door for you when you continue to stand in integrity and in the path of righteousness. Let your feet go deep in the path of righteousness. As a leader, let us be careful what kinds of accusation we receive from the multitude. Look at them. Look at who they are when they are bringing the accusation against people before you. Listen carefully, listen deeply, and be discerning. The fact that you are suffering wrong doesn't mean you are guilty or you've done something wrong. We need women who can stand up like Pilate's wife and warn their husbands. You will not die with them if you do. Ananias' wife would not have died with him if she did what Pilate's wife did. I like to encourage you that we need a society where justice prevails, where people in high authority who have the capacity to make sure right continues and wrong is nipped in the bud, we need them to stand up with good governance and justice and courage to stand for what is right all the time. I wish you well. God bless you. Amen.